Hi everyone, today I'll be showing you how to create this super cool text reveal in PowerPoint. It's one of the coolest text reveals I've done on this channel so far, so I hope you enjoy it. Let's jump right into it to learn how to do it. So all you need to do is open up a new presentation in PowerPoint like usual and change the layout to blank. Our first step will be creating all the objects we need for the animation and formatting them. So first of all, we're going to add some text and write some just text because that is some very inventive words. We're going to size that up to 138 and change the font to Poppins and make it bold. We can also center it, going Control E, go align text middle as well, and then we can go shape format, align center, align middle, so it's right in the middle of our slide. Now we're going to create our line. It's going to just be a rectangle really, so you just need to draw out a rectangle and just make it a bit bigger than our text so that it can cover it so it's basically going to bounce down in the middle, then go to the right and then go back to the left over here, and then it'll fade out whilst revealing the text basically. So we can center that, go align center, align middle, align middle even, and you can see that that might be a bit too. Actually, you know what, that's a pretty good size, so we can change the shape fill to black, shape outline none. If you want to, you can make it a bit taller, but I think this is pretty good, and we just need to make sure it's got the same length at the top and the same length at the bottom. Okay, nice. So we've got two of our shapes there. We've got one more shape to go, and this one is sort of a filler shape. It's what I use when we're doing text reveals, and it's just a block, and it's going to be the same color as the background, which is going to be a light sort of green color. We can fix that later. While we're formatting this, we can also format our background by going to design, format background, and change it to also be this green, and we're going to go more colors and make it slightly less green, so it's going to be like a light green like there. And then we can also change the shape to be the same under the recent colors over here. Now we're going to go to shape format while selecting this rectangle and send it back once. So it's going to be covering the text, and we can fix however this works later. So right now you can just basically pull it out to the side, or you can really just go selection pane and hide this. And we're also going to hide the text box under here. Okay, our next object will be this rectangle. We're going to add an anchor point to it. So you might know what an anchor point is from this really successful video that I had on my channel a few months ago. You can check that out later, and that's usually used for rigging characters in PowerPoint, which is something you might not have done, so you can also watch this video to learn how to rig and create characters in PowerPoint to animate them. But aside from that, all we're going to do is basically make it so that it can, so look, if I rotate this, it rotates around the middle. It's quite self-explanatory. But what we want is it to rotate around this point at the bottom right here. So what we need to do is I use an oval normally as a placeholder shape, and we're just going to align it to the bottom here. You can see those red lines come up when we align it to the bottom. And we're going to go shape fill, no fill, shape outline, no outline. So when we size this up, also you can hide your text box if you want. What we're going to do is we've got this oval here, which you can select in the selection pane over here. If you didn't see it, it just looks like there's a rectangle here because the oval is literally just invisible, and we basically just want it slightly bigger than our rectangle so that when we group them together it will pivot around the point in the middle of the group, because that's how PowerPoint works. So you select both your shapes by doing a box select over the entire slide, go Control G, and then we have our shape here. So you can see this is rotating around the bottom of our rectangle as we want, and this is just for the last animation where it just like fades out over here. It just goes to the side and then fades out. So we're now going to add the bounce animation to this group. This is our next step. We're going to go animation and go fly in. Now of course this is the wrong direction, because when we have a bounce it follows gravity, and gravity is always acting downwards, which is good because otherwise we'd all be flying into space. So we're going to change our effect options to be from top, so it goes straight from the top and falls down to the ground. So obviously there is really no physics engine or anything in PowerPoint, so we're going to have to animate it by hand. So we're going to add an animation, and it's going to be a grow shrink. So I'm just going to add all these animations, and then we can format the animations later. We're going to add another animation that's going to be a motion path, And then we're going to add a final animation. That's going to be another grow shrink. And then we can add another motion, really. Okay, so there's our like 5 animations, yeah. So we go animation pane and we can see all our animations here. Obviously, this is definitely not going to work. Let's play it and we can see what's going to happen. It will look really terrible. It has no correlation to a bounce at all. It's like some random animations just put together, which it really is. So what we're going to do first is we're going to format our fly animation. This is our next step, which is to format our animations. So just double click on this and we're going to change the start to a smooth start, as a normal object in life accelerates downwards due to gravity, which is something I learnt in physics, obviously. And we're going to just also change our duration of this to just be 0.5, which it is if it isn't already on yours. And then we can go on to the next one, which is, by the way, you can highlight all of these by holding shift and then going after previous, because most of them are going to be after. So we select our next animation, and this is going to be very simple. We're just going to change the direction in effect options to vertical and go effect options smaller. So it's going to go 50%. So it's going to literally just squash like a bouncy ball would. So if you do a bouncy ball, you can see it might squash if you do something with slime or something like that. Okay, we're also going to change the duration to be 0.15. And then we're going to go double click on that. That's quite small, so we're actually going to auto reverse it. So basically it's going to compress and then decompress. So it's a bit like a rubber band. If you pull it and then you let go of it. It's a bit like that. So our next one is going to be just a motion path up. This one's pretty self-explanatory. It just goes up. Right now it's going down, so we can change the effect options to go up. Very simply. And we can change the duration to be 0.4. And we can also make it auto reverse and a smooth end. So auto reverse, smooth end, 0.4. So that looks pretty good. So let me just play you what we've got. So that looks pretty good. Now for our next size animation. This is going to be pretty similar to what we had earlier. And it's basically just going to be a 90% vertical sort of size thing. So it's going to have like one small compression at the end there. So we can just double click on that, change the size to be 90%, and we're going to make it vertical there. Sorry, 90% there. And we can make it auto reverse and press OK. We're going to change the duration to be 0.1. It's going to be really, really tiny, and let's just play it to see. So this is one of the good things when we're doing PowerPoint animations. Just keep playing it, especially when it's a small 2-second animation, just to check that we've got it right after every step. Now this one's going to be slightly different. We're actually going to make this with previous instead of after previous as we did for the rest. And we're going to add a delay of 0.5. We're also going to change the duration to 0.5. And all this one is going to do is just pull it to the right. So this is not part of our bounce animation. We're now moving on to the text reveal, which is our next step. So we're just going to move this to the side, really cancel. We're just going to go effect options to the right, very simply. And as you can see, it's gone back to duration of 2, and we can make it back to 0.5 as we wanted it to be. We're also going to make the smooth end to be completely full, so it slows down as it gets there. So if I play you my entire animation, I've got it like this. It's going to go like that. So basically, as you saw, it's going to go to the side, and then it's going to come back and then reveal the text. So that's basically what our animation is like. So there we go. We've got our bounce animation. Now our next step, as I was saying, is our text reveal. So this is where we need to unhide just the text so that we can see the text there. And you can see that our animation has overshot slightly. So what you can do is just click on the animation in the animation pane over here and pull it inwards. And what I like to have is the same amount of space really between here as there are between the letters. So that's a bit too wide, maybe a bit smaller there. So that's quite nice. All we need to do now is add in the rectangle, which is going to reveal it. So I've used this rectangle before in previous videos on text reveal, so you can check in the right hand corner for other videos that show text reveals. And what I did there was it basically had a line and it went like that, up and then down like that. But that's not what we're doing today. What we're doing is from the left to right. which we could have simply done with a wipe transition, and you could do that if you wanted to, but I want to get this smooth end nice, just to really polish up this animation. So what we're going to do is we just need to pull this out slightly until it's really at the point of where this rectangle is. So if we go into our animation pane, you can click here and see that that is really where the line is. If you don't understand what I'm saying, don't worry, just follow what I'm doing and your animation will look great. By the way, if you're still watching now, you're probably finding this tutorial helpful, so make sure to leave a like and subscribe. It's free, you can always unsubscribe, and you can get great tutorials from the notification bell. So while we're doing this, all we need to do is add 2 more animations, which will do the reveal, and that's going to be to the group here and the rectangle up here. So you can select both really and go add animation and motion path. So both of them will have a motion path. While we're selecting both animations, we can also change the effect options to go left, like that. Now this is slightly wrong, as our group is actually starting back here. So what right now it's going to do is it would do the transition over here, and then it would suddenly appear back over here and then do the one here. And that's not what we want. What we want is actually this to start over here, and we want this to come all the way about here. So this length should be about the same as this. Is a bit too long, and we can see when we unhide the text again. So we've got this, and we actually really want this to unhide the entirety of the text. So we can select the rectangle and pull that even further out. We can't really see where we're going, but just use it by eye. This length should be the same as this length here. So I would say that's about right. You can zoom out and just check. I think that looks pretty good. We're now gonna make them go after previous and just make that one go with previous, so that if I pull it out and go back in the timeline, you can see this is sort of what our animation should look like. We're also going to change the duration to be 0.5, so it's double the speed of the previous one. And I mean, like, the duration is the same, but it's traveling double the distance, so it's going to be double the speed. While we're at it, you can just select both, just select one really, and go smooth end 0.5 and smooth end the same over here. And that's why we're using a rectangle instead. And you can see I sort of underestimated how much it would be. So if I play it again, that's almost there. This just needs to be pulled out slightly. Let's do that again. Yeah, that's really nice. So if we play the entire animation, this is what we've got. And you may be content with that, but I don't like this line sticking out here. So this is why we did that anchor point earlier, so that when we add an animation, we're going to go more exit effects. And I was going to make a video about this, these hidden ones that you might not know about. And under moderate, over here, we've got a spinner. And what this is going to do is basically it's self-explanatory. If I play this, this is what the spin does. And you can see if I didn't have the spinner, it would spin around the middle point of the line. But since I do have that anchor point, it's going to spin around the bottom, which is just a nice touch to add. And we can just add that after. So there we go. There is our final text reveal in PowerPoint, and we can just play it to just make sure we have no mistakes there. And there we have it, our text reveal. Make sure to subscribe, leave a comment if you like this video, and also comment if you wanted more videos like this or other topics. And if you did, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Check out this video to learn more about PowerPoint.